Is Illinois going to rock Oregon's ass for 2 hours? I don't think they are.
As long as it's not 3 hours.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, true.
I suppose you could rock them for 2 hours and then make a feverish comeback, or you just, you rock their ass back and then, pull out at the end.
A little Illinois looky-loo here. Dan Lanning coming up in 20 minutes. They're ranked 20th, and they're tough. Bielema's a good coach. But, boy, nothing jumps off the page about them as super dangerous. I was looking up just basic numbers, like their rush offense. So, on offense, rushing, number 88.
Yeah.
Passing, number 76. Total offense, 61.
Yeah. There's
defense, number 80 on rush, number 43 pass. Total defense, 31, so better. Their only loss was at Penn State, and they only put up 219 yards of offense.
Yeah, I mean, they'll supposedly play some good defense, although what's weird is Purdue hung 49 on them. But other than that, they've been a good defensive club. They held Nebraska to 24. They held Penn State to 21. It's supposed to be a tough-nosed football team that plays good defense and is limited offensively. Beat Michigan 21-7, but again, Michigan has no offense to speak of. So I guess when I looked at this, when I was looking at some of these numbers and I was going back and taking a look at Illinois, they may be able to contain Oregon for a period of time. I could see this, being one of those games where Oregon's a little sloppy maybe, and Illinois is able to kind of hold serve for a quarter or two. I just have zero concern that Illinois' defense is going to be able to do much against Oregon, and eventually the dam will burst. Oregon's just too talented across the board. If this was one of those that was on the road, maybe that scares you a little bit, but I don't know. I think this thing, kind of smells like 35-10, maybe 28-10, something like that. It may not be a blowout because Illinois is a disciplined team and they're going to be tough, and I would think that they want to slow the game down, limit possessions. But I just don't think that they have nearly the firepower to hang with Oregon.
What if Oregon pitches another shutout?
That'd be awesome.
Second straight.
Yeah. When's the last time that happened?
I don't know.
You just don't pitch shutouts in Division I football.
Division I.
It's Division I football.
Yeah, Illinois. I feel like it's going to be a lot like the Penn State game, and the final score of that game was 21-7.
21-7.
I think we got to give them credit. They can muck it up, but
I think if you're Illinois, that's what you're trying to do.
They just don't scare you.
When this was. This was the whole, when Chip Kelly was here, the idea was you hold them to 12. If you can hold them to, somewhere in that 10 to 12 possession range, you feel like you have a chance. If they're getting more than that, you're in trouble. And that's what I really like about this Oregon defense is that even if the offense is sputtering a little bit, I feel like the defense is either going to get you a couple turnovers or it's going to force some 3-and-outs, and it's just going to keep giving you more possessions. In a game like this, the more times that you trade the ball back and forth, Oregon's going to come out on top because Illinois just doesn't have what Oregon has on that side of the football.
They're also inches from being 4-3.
Yeah.
2 overtime wins.
Absolutely.
The Purdue game in Nebraska.
Yep.
But I was looking at their schedule. If they get this, somehow they get this.
Yeah, it sets up real well for them.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, because they got
they're going to the Big Ten. If they win this game, they're going to the Big Ten title game.
Yeah, because after that, you got Minnesota, Michigan State, Rutgers, Northwestern.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, maybe Minnesota being the toughest test there, but this is my thing about teams like Illinois and maybe even true about Indiana. Again, we'll wait and see. Indiana passed a huge test and they thumped Nebraska. But we do this every year with teams. We do it in every conference. You get a team like Illinois who is a fine. It's, we even coming into the season, people are like, hey, keep an eye on Bielema. They play good defense, and if they get some breaks and they start stringing together some good games and they string together, some good wins, and maybe they have a close loss, again, the Penn State one, and you kind of look at them and you start like in your mind being like, hey, there's a path forward. But I've said this a million times. If your best argument to why you can get to a title game is your schedule, that's the number one thing you can point to. It usually doesn't end up happening because something along the way trips you up. These football seasons are long. Weird things happen. And when you're not an uber talented team, the witches of November will come up and bite you in the ass. Even in a game like Michigan State, where you're like, how did you lose to Michigan State? Because you weren't that good. The difference between being a good team, an elite team, or an average to a below average team is a lot of times it's just consistency. and the ability to win when you don't have your fastball. And Illinois is not one of those teams.
No.
So
this is the time of year where those teams start to take their lumps.
Absolutely. I've been on those teams where, we catch some breaks and maybe we have a big win or two, and then you get to the end of the year and guys get tired, guys get nicked up, and then depth.
Yeah, still a good team, though.
Yeah.
It's just...
Oh, Oregon's got to mind their P's and Q's. This is a much stiffer test than what you got, at Purdue. If you like Illinois at home or Purdue on the road, I'll take Purdue on the road. There's nothing about Purdue that was particularly scary, but to that point, Purdue and Illinois went toe to toe.
Yeah.
But Illinois presents a much stiffer challenge, home or road, than anything that Purdue does. The Altmaier kid, the transfer, he's a Ole Miss guy. His numbers are good. They're just they're a little Jekyll and Hyde. But I mean, he's completing 65% of his passes. I think he's got 15 touchdowns, 1 pick. They still want to be a run-first team. They got a 3-headed monster back there, 3 different leading rushers on the year, depending on what game you're looking at. And again, I just think Illinois wants to play. If you told Illinois that they could have that Penn State game, and I know it was only 21-7, but if you ask Brett Bielema, that's the game you want to play, or do you want to get into the Purdue game? They'll take the first one. They'll take the 21 to whatever game and try to find a way to grind it out. They do not want to get into a Purdue shootout. And that's just, I guess give them credit, because in a game that isn't what they want to do, they found a way to win, 50 to 49. So, give them credit. I'm not overlooking Illinois. I don't know, especially at home, these are games that Oregon traditionally does not lose. I mean, you look at them at Autzen Stadium, they just don't lose to inferior teams. And Illinois is a inferior team, but one that should be taken seriously.
A text. I wonder if the Oregon-Illinois matchup is of particular interest to the residents of the town of Oregon, Illinois. That's a great question.
Oh. Is there an Oregon, Illinois?
Well, yeah. Why else would he say that?
Well, I'm not familiar with it. Like, you're acting like we all know. Oh, yes, Oregon, Illinois.
There's probably an Illinois, Oregon. We have so much stuff here named after other places.
Yeah.
We were almost Boston.
We should call someone in Oregon, Illinois, and get them on the horn.
Yeah, talk some mess.
We could do that.
Well, no, see what maybe they like Oregon.
Oh, yeah, maybe they're big Duck fans. It's a little strange. Little strange.
This is the longest trip of the season for Illinois as well. I was just listening to Brett Bielema today. By the way, he got his teeth done. They're nice.
Oh, he's got the big
big
white chiclets.
Veneers, yeah.
It's expensive, man.
He makes good money.
Yeah, make that Big Ten money to get those.
But 2 time zones going west.
I found it.
Okay.
Back-to-back Duck shutouts.
1973.
No, later.
1981.
I meant earlier. Excuse me.
64.
There you go. On the nose. 64.
You knew that.
1964.
I do.
They shut out Arizona 21-0 on October 17th, and then the next week they shut out Washington 7-0.
I do knew that.
That's fantastic.
Couldn't find that on the internet. That was manual research.
Buck out there just getting it done.
People texting in the Illinois River that runs in Oregon.
Oh, there you
apparently.
go. So we got.
It's very confusing. It's
I
hard
love it. Yeah, but I like this heated rivalry that we got going on right now. We need new Big Ten rivalries. Let's make it this.